I want to touch on mainly on how you can discover and understand continuation flags in a very simplified ways. Especially with the fact that how do you know that particular continuation has enough volume to proceed or to move into Yes guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I want to touch on mainly on how you can discover and understand continuation flags in a very simplified ways, especially with the fact that how do you know that particular continuation has enough volume to proceed or to move in the direction that you are looking in the first place, or we need just to wait for a little bit more. So into today's video I'll be touching mainly into two examples, which will be EuroCAD and Euro GBP. So I took a trade on Euro GBP, and I'll be explaining as the reason as to why I decided to take that and opt not to take EuroCAD. So follow me along, as by the end of this video you have so much clarity in what you need to focus and concentrate on and gain the clarity necessarily needed. As always, when I'm stating this, I always mean it with intentionality. Clarity always wins confusion. So follow me along. So if we just move into the chart work over here, we have too many example. Okay, I have the example number one, which is EuroCAD, and I have the example number two, which is Euro GBP. Now, one thing that I want you all to understand over here is that when we are looking for continuation and the sequence of the continuation, it happens this way. Okay, so the market always provides us with the opportunity first by giving us the 5-minute continuation, then the 15-minute continuation, then the 1-hour continuation, and then the larger continuation, which means the 4-hour larger structure. Is that clear? But you have to understand that this sequence is not followed parallel. Rather, the market always opts to provide us with its opportunity when it wants to provide itself with the opportunity. And what I do mean by this is that when we tend to look into the market and we get those continuation, sometimes the market might start with a 5-minute flag, and sometimes it may start with a larger 4-hour structure. You get my point? And sometimes it might provide us with a 1-hour continuation, but theoretically we normally know when we see the 15, we expect the 1 hour to be next. When we see the 5, we expect the 15 minutes. That's why you need to get prepared on these particular continuations. So whenever you see the impasse, just compared to the impasse itself, you normally have to understand which areas are the impasses. Which areas are the continuation are likely to be formed in 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and 1 hour, and which areas are the continuation are likely to form larger continuation. So let's jump straight now. So when we come into the chart work over here, we can see this is the impasse from the Euro CAD, and this is the impasse from Euro GBP. Okay, now one thing that I want you all to understand is that when we are early up in the run around these particular areas, okay, around these particular areas, okay, when we are earlier on the run around these particular areas, okay, around these particular areas, the type of continuation flags that you need to focus on are either the 5 minutes, either the 15 minutes, or either the 1 hour continuation. Okay, but when now we have cleared, maybe if for instance in this example you can see this is a pattern within a pattern, we can see there was this particular squeeze. Okay, and we can see that this was its 90% rule. Okay, and when I say 90%, this has already moved 100%, but 90% is roughly around these particular areas. Okay, so here is 100%. So this internal structure already plays a huge difference in giving us a clear picture of what we need to focus on over here, because over here it already mitigates the area message that we are area on the run. Rather, over here we are further into the run, but over here in this example we can see we have the same squeeze, but we still have something like this. This is the squeeze, and this is the impasse. So we cleared these previous lows to change the message within this direction. Okay, so which kind of message did we change in this? We have changed this message that if we form a continuation just underneath over there, this means that we have cleared the confusion of us pushing to the upside or being tagged in and tagged out. So this is when we say we are early up in the run. Okay, now in this example over here, we are still early up on the run, but compared to this internal piece of price action, we are already further into the run. Okay, so when you are earlier on the run, you need to focus on 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and 1 hour continuation. Now, with this impasse and with this impasse, and then with this continuation, which one would you have considered to take on? That's the question that I need to bring it on you, because you need to understand clearly. Because over here we are, one example, we are further into the run, and one we are earlier on the run. Okay, compared to what? In this example, area on the run compared to this low. Over here, further into the run compared to this low, because this is a clear impasse. Because if we could say in this example we are further into the run, the area that could help us to mitigate the confusion was this low over here. So if this continuation was just formed over here, I could have considered taking it despite being very small in volume or in its formation, and I would opt just to see on how I could manage over here. But the fact that we have already passed this low, and this we have passed and then formed this volume, it makes a lot of sense for us to take this rather than this one, because with this impasse and then this being our first continuation, chances are, even if it plays out, we are more likely to come and form a 4-hour larger continuation. Why? Because this impasse with this continuation, they are not correlating. That's why you have seen it has played out, and still there is a very high chance of forming a larger 4-hour continuation, so that it has more volume to proceed with its movement to the downside. But on the flip side now, when we come to this second example, we have seen that we have cleared the confusion, which means that it was this particular low over here. Let me just even set your array line, and we have seen that we have formed the continuation. So we have the continuation. Now the question comes, with this continuation, and this particular impasse, does that make sense to us to take for the next run to the downside, at least to this particular lows? To me, yes, it makes sense. And I'm not trying to say that this over here you cannot take it, and this you cannot, this is the one you should take it. No, both of them are valid, but the only things are the chances of both this playing out, they differ, because this has a very high chance of still proceeding, surpassing this compared to the volume that has been created over here. And this, on the flip side, okay, on the flip side now, the continuation that we get over here, the continuation we get over here, which is still valid for us to take, is less likely to surpass these particular lows, because we lack in-depth volume. But over here we have clear volume to take this next particular low, because the volume which was created over here in form of this correction in price has already surpassed this low, and the volume which was created over here has already surpassed this low and even moved to this previous low. I hope that makes a lot of sense, and now you have so much clarity on what to consider. And one thing that I would say is this: we never have 100% guarantee on the price on what it will do next. The only thing is that how do we position ourselves and how do we mitigate the risk in the first place? And that is what I want you all to stick into your mind. With that being said, that marks the end of my video, because I've already clarified the depth of what you need to concentrate and what you need to focus on when it comes into this particular continuation. Please do let me know in the comment section over there down below what was your major takeaways and what are the main things that you have learned from this particular video. Let's make it engaging, let's make it sharing and enjoyable. Until next time, see you and God bless. Bye bye.